Let's move to the offensive line. I've got my prediction for what I think the offensive line will look like in 2024, which is fairly, I think, cut and dry. And then also 2025. So I can't wait to hear what y'all think. So I'll start with 2024, and I would assume we're all in alignment. I'm going to use that word so many times today.
Go for it. Hey, again, Taylor and I talked about this as well this morning when we were like, all right, how do we want to talk about this? We did say our wonderful program consultant, Jason Barrett, once said, once everybody's on the same page, lean into the bit full hard. And so, you know what? We are living the gimmick, folks. We're gonna lean right in.
That's right. All right. So Cam Robinson, left tackle. Ezra Cleveland, left guard. Center will be Mitch Morse. Brandon Sheriff, your right guard. And Anton Harrison, your right tackle. Does anyone disagree with that as of May 8th?
Right now, no. I do not.
As of May 8th, no.
Yeah. Now, certainly things can change.
Yes.
Cam Robinson could be shipped off. There could be certainly injuries upcoming. We certainly hope that's not the case.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Or you could have camp battles, and you could see players pushing those guys, and they could potentially win maybe a right guard job with, as far as competition there. But I think, and maybe Anton Harrison could move to left. So that's going to transition me to 2025. Anton Harrison, left tackle, 2025. That's what I have. What about you, Mia?
I have Walker Little on the tag at left tackle in 2025.
And so I'm going to guess then Anton Harrison is still your right tackle.
I still have him at right tackle. And don't forget, I think people do forget that Cam Robinson played on the tag not too long ago.
Yeah.
Could I see a world in which Walker Little plays on the tag? Yes. And they try to make him prove it again, whether that is because Cam Robinson is traded away this season and Walker gets a full season in his final year of his rookie contract, or if, as has been the case the last few years, they split the role of left tackle because of whether it's injury or suspension, and the Jags feel like they've seen enough. Cam Robinson would be entering year 30 of his life. Year 8.
I was like, wow, we've had him a while.
I meant to say age 30. I meant to say age 30, and I came out
For some people, it feels like year 30.
Right. Yeah, year 30, year 60.
Back when the team was good in
right,
2017.
exactly.
Pre-Jags.
Right, exactly. So he would be entering his he'll be turning 30 the next year.
Right.
He's in the final year of his contract, and the Jags say, even if we've only gotten 5 games of Walker this year, we're going to tag him. We're going to bank on either A, getting a short-term 2 to 3 year deal done with him that off season, which would then open up Walker to hit free agency again when he's 27. And so then it's friendly for both sides. And also you say we're getting a left tackle in his prime who has shown us enough in a limited capacity over the past few years.
Yeah, I was going to say Walker Little also. I think that from what we saw beginning of the season last year with Walker, I think there were definitely moments in there that you felt he could hold that position and he could be there. I think that he gets a little highly criticized because of the stepping on the ankle of Trevor, which wasn't technically Walker's fault. So I think he gets a little hate because of that. But I think that we'll continue to see Walker Little even get better personally, because I think we have so far through the time that we've seen them. And I just personally don't see Cam still here. Whether that's even honestly this season, I'm not totally sure, but definitely not next season in my eyes. And then you talk about behind that, they will have to address obviously what goes in-depth pieces behind Walker Little and what. But in my opinion, I think we'd be seeing Walker there.
Well, the beautiful thing is you just drafted Javon Foster.
And I was about to say, so if they can develop him, perfect.
I think he's a swing tackle. Like,
yeah, me too.
I do want to be clear. And like, look, if he's thrust into starting duty, I think he could handle it. Maybe not this year, but down the line. But I think he was drafted with the idea of he will be a swing tackle.
Yeah.
I think that when Anton Harrison was picked, the plan was to play him at right tackle for one season and then shift him to left tackle for this upcoming season. But because of how many injuries they had last year, I think they said, no, we have to keep as many tackles as possible. And we like how Cam Robinson plays when he's in there, which, of course, at times he's not available because of injury last year, the suspension.
And injury.
And yeah, injury, right? So I do think Cam Robinson, the plan was to move on from Cam. And maybe it still is, like you said.
Yeah.
But for the here and now, I think Anton Harrison, they believe, is a truer left tackle. And I think by the time we start this conversation next year, he's solidified as left tackle. But right, then that means the question mark for Walker Little.
And I would agree with that real quick, Taylor. I would agree with that if their offensive tackle of choice had fallen to them in either the first, second, or third round this year. But because it didn't, that's where I think now that opens up some opportunities for some shuffle.
Yeah, Yeah, because for me, I think that if you have Anton Harrison and he continues to play at the level he did last season, and he's playing that at right tackle, to risk making the move to left tackle, also shuffling the line once again when you have maybe your solid right tackle that you already like, and you have guys capable of playing left tackle. I just don't know if they'd want to mix things around again when they're talking about having some sort of consistency on the line.
Yeah, and we certainly will see what happens with Cam Robinson between now and the end of the season. Is he still here? Does he play all 17 games? If that's the case, and maybe they have
shifts completely then.
Sure. If they have a great offensive line this season with Cam Robinson anchoring at left tackle, then my thought process about Anton is different, and I think then he stays at right tackle.
Let me ask you this.
But Cam's expensive.
For you, for both of you, we'll go Lauren then Taylor. For you, what would it take to move Cam Robinson, let's say the week before the season, late August? When you've seen enough from Walker that you feel confident he would be your left tackle. You've seen enough from Javon Foster that you know in a pinch as your swing tackle. Not to mention, don't forget, you still have Blake Hance who can play all 5 positions along the line. You feel confident enough that you could deal Cam. What does the compensation need to be?
I think it's a great question because I think to this point, what they've kind of told us without telling us is it's going to have to be a pretty high pick because otherwise they would have been like, all right, let's go with Walker Little at left tackle and we're going to save a lot of money without Cam. But I think they believe so much in Cam to this point that it would have to be second or third rounder, which seems kind of crazy to think because he's expensive.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say, because that team would also have to figure out that $20+ million contract and what they're going to do. But we've seen teams need that. Like if they're looking at a left tackle, if their starting left tackle goes down and they're in panic mode, they may honestly be willing to do something like that. The only maybe hesitation is the fact that he struggled with injuries, especially this last season, and then also the suspension. So you didn't get to see really full Cam last year, and maybe that would back people up from wanting to jump on something that high.
What would you think?
You didn't get to see the entire starting offensive line that they wanted, Taylor, which included a guard who didn't get here until week 10.